I had a brain fart there for a second. What are we talking about? Hey guys, welcome back. So I have got my 2019 favorites for y'all today. So exciting. So I'm planning on breaking these up into 3 different videos is my plan, because we got a lot to talk about. So today is part 1, so it'll be kind of like face stuff, like foundation, concealers, blush, powder, bronzer, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, part 1, and then I'll have the other ones in 2 more videos is my plan. So let's jump on in. Okay, so favorite face primer for the whole year would be the IT Cosmetics No. 50 Serum Anti-Aging Collagen Veil Primer. The main reason that I love this so much is I feel like it is infusing skincare into my skin and then also giving kind of an initial smooth canvas for foundation. It is not overly drying, not super duper hydrating, but I would say it just feels like a skincare treatment on the skin, but then also very silky and very smoothing on the skin. So love this, have used it over and over and over, gone through many different containers of it. For foundations, I have several to chat with you guys about. So first off, gotta mention my IT Cosmetics CC Cream. This has been my holy grail for years and years and years. Same sort of reason as the reason I love the primer. I feel like it is a skincare treatment, but then also you get great coverage with it. So the original is my favorite. I think the matte is really nice for more oily skin. I think the illumination is pretty if you want more of a glow on your skin, but I think this just looks very skin-like, kind of satiny on the skin, just very smooth. So pretty on the skin, but also has serum, SPF 50 in it, a built-in primer. I mean, they kind of talk about it every time they have this on QVC. They'll kind of talk about the different things in it. It's sort of like lots of things in one product, so it is awesome. If I can get it in the super size, a lot of times I'll do that. They come in kits sometimes, like TSVs are always so good. That's a great way to get them in a kit. It's amazing. My favorite drugstore foundation is the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. So it is a matte foundation, but it says Comfort Matte. Totally is. It's not overly drying. It's really, really pretty on the skin. Very long wearing. I wear it in L40 for the most part. I have some other colors that I'll, wear if I've self-tanned or whatnot, but this is kind of like my, standard shade. I just love it. Longevity, pretty on the skin, matte but not too matte, kind of like satin matte is how I would describe it. It's great. The NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, this one was really like, I grew to love it because the key with this is you don't need a lot of product. If you use tons of product, you're probably not gonna like it because it just looks heavy on the skin. You have too much product. But if you use a tiny little bit, a little bit goes so far. Really good coverage, great wear time on it, looks very pretty on the skin. Again, that kind of just sort of satiny finish on the skin, so very pretty, not dry looking, not overly dewy, just pretty, and then really long wearing. It is great. And this one came in as a favorite towards the end of the year, but man, I love it. This is the Your Skin Forever Perfect Makeup Everlasting Wear Pore Refining Effect with Sunscreen. I wear it in 15. I mix this with the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, and oh my goodness, the wear time on this is so good. It just really, so I love the CC Cream, but I do get shiny with this, towards like halfway through into the end of the day. Mixing it with this really helps the longevity of it. So then you get that very beautiful skin-like look on the skin, but you also get the longevity. So this is awesome. It is a pricey foundation, but it's good. And especially if you mix it, it's gonna last longer. All right, concealers. One of mine looks absolutely disgusting. First off, this guy right here, I don't think this is really available or findable anymore. This is the Maybelline Master Camo by Face Studio, and I have it in the pink one. I was so sad when I started seeing this go on clearance because I love this. So I bought up so many of them, especially when they were like $2 a piece. I bought up a ton of them because this is my favorite color corrector for under the eyes. It is a beautiful pink color, but also the texture of it. I feel like Maybelline, if you are looking for a great like go-to brand for good concealers in the drugstore. I feel like Maybelline just does them so well. I also have a CoverGirl favorite in a second, so they're really coming out with some good ones too. But Maybelline, for years, I've gone to them for concealers. Just smooth on the skin, a good kind of like creamy texture that's not thick or gross, but not dry looking. So anyway, I love the texture of this. It's so smooth and so beautiful, and it's very pretty with that pink color, very brightening. Okay, also love, this looks so gross, the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I have used this for years. I use this in NW20. So I'll use a color corrector first, and then I'll kind of dab this just right in the darkest spots for a little bit more coverage. This is basically my skin tone color. It's actually probably maybe a little bit dark, but when I put it over a color corrector, it just really looks very pretty. It kind of makes this sort of seamless kind of a transition to the cheeks. So great coverage on it. This is really good for spot concealing on other areas of the face too. It is a great never failure sort of concealer that concealer? Yes, concealer that I have used for years. I had a brain fart there for a second. I was like, what are we talking about? Concealer. This is concealer. It's a great one, and I've used it for years and years. Okay, and then also the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. And I like it in Classic Ivory for my skin tone. I've tried several different ones. At first, the ones I was getting, they were too light, like I have it in Porcelain here. Pretty, but for me, it was a little bit too light. So this is a better color for me for same reasons. I will use a color corrector first, and then I'll go into that kind of darker area right in here and just apply a little bit more for a seamless transition and a little bit more coverage. Great coverage on this, really good texture on it too. You get a lot of product. It's a good one. It's a really good one in the drugstore, and I did reach for it pretty often this year. Powders, I have multiple favorites, kind of for different reasons. A couple of them I use for the same sort of things, but love all these powders so much. First off, this one I have used for years and years and years. This is the Ben Nye Luxury Powder in Rose Petal. I absolutely love this for the T-zone, under the eyes. It's a beautiful pinky color, but they also have more skin tone colors as well. But their luxury powders have the most beautiful, perfect sort of a texture to them that is so smoothing on the skin. I just really have not found anything like their powders. I mean, I'm talking I've used these for 5 years, and I have loved them that whole time. Like every time I try other things, I found things that are close, like the J-Cat Beauty is pretty close, but it's tough to beat this. The texture is just so beautiful and smoothing on the skin. It's amazing. The Laura Geller Balance and Brighten Foundation. I wear this in Fair. So they say foundation, you can totally wear it as a foundation. It's gonna be a more lightweight foundation if you wear it that way, but as a setting powder, and even as a blotting powder, it's beautiful. It, again, has that very smoothing, silky sort of a texture to it. It is such a good texture. I'm all about the texture with powders because obviously that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to like set, but also just give that smooth, like finished look to the skin. This totally does it. And also I'll grab for this if I've tried a foundation that just looks cakey or heavy or patchy or something, I can save the day with this powder, and it is so good for that. The MAC Studio Fix, what is this called? Powder Plus Foundation. I have this in NC25. I like this for setting my foundation, also for touch-ups. It does have more coverage to it. So this is more of a powder foundation, has more coverage than the Laura Geller. But I really like the finish on the skin. This one is kind of like a, I used it years ago and then I revisited it this year and really fell in love with it again. It's just pretty on the skin. Great for setting, great for touch-ups. It's a good one. Oh my goodness. This one. This Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder. I wear this in one Fair. Oh, this is so gorgeous on the skin. So I will use this for setting my foundation, but mostly I use this for touch-ups during the day because touch-ups, you need the right kind of powder, and this is totally it. It's just so smoothing on the skin, blurs everything, makes it look seamless and flawless, really nice micro fine texture to it, so it's just beautiful on the skin. Awesome powder. All right, blush. So I will say that I used a lot of ColourPop palettes on my cheeks as blush. Like if it was a corally, pinky, nudie sort of a color, I would just dab into that palette as I was using it on my eyes. I'd dab a little bit on my cheeks. Didn't do that today, but that's what I would do a lot of days, and it totally works. So it has a really good texture. Their shadows have a really good texture for using them on the cheeks as well. So I did do that a lot. But then I was looking through my blushes and thinking about what I grabbed for the most this year. It would be CoverGirl blushes. I just have a love for CoverGirl blushes. The Instant Cheekbones, these are so pretty and glowy. So this part is a highlighter, but even these have a little bit of glow to them. This one is in Purple Plum. I guess it is Purple Plum, something plum. So pretty. I have, I think, every color in those and really like them. And then the Cheekers blushes. I feel like they have improved these and they are so good now, and they're like $3 to $5 depending on where you get them. I have several, well, I have a lot of different colors in these. I'll look at Walmart and go, do I have that one? When they're like $3 a piece, they're kind of fun to collect. Peach Glint, I think this would be. Peach Glint, maybe? That one's really pretty peachy color. Pink Candy, gorgeous bright pink. And then this one, Brick Rose. This is what I have on today. Beautiful neutral color. Has a little bit of a glow to it. So a lot of these do have that little bit of like a sheen and glow that looks so pretty on the cheeks. I like the texture of them. I like how they blend. I like how they wear. They're good and so affordable. Bronzers, so a few honorable mentions. The Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder. I wear it in 01 Sunlight. I really like this one because it's not overly intense or dark. It's a very soft and light sort of a bronzer. So if I want just kind of a light, fresh sort of a makeup look, really enjoy this one. And I like the texture of it. It's very blendable and really pretty. Love the Too Faced Gingerbread Tan Spicy Bronzer. This one's kind of a warm bronzer that's pretty as a blush bronzer sort of a combo. Really like the, I'm pointing because I think it's in that closet, the Too Faced Lust Bronzer. That one's really pretty, cool toned bronzer, gorgeous packaging to it, nice texture, really like that one. Okay, so those are kind of honorable mentions. The ones that I wore the most, Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. Worn this for years. It's amazing. Beautiful matte bronzer that just looks so pretty on the face. You can use it on your eyes, in the crease of your eyes. It's a quick get you out the door sort of eye look, and beautiful on the cheeks as a true bronzer as well. Love the texture of it. The Butter Bronzers from Physicians Formula. The original just bronzer. This is the one that I wear the most. Obviously, it's very well used. I also really like Sun-Kissed bronzer. It's a warm tone bronzer, but I like this one for the summertime. It's not overly deep. It's just kind of a sun-kissed, hence the name, sun-kissed bronzer. It's very sun-kissed and very pretty on the cheeks. Just love the texture of this. It is so blendable. Doesn't look patchy. Doesn't look overly intense or heavy. It just looks so, I mean, butter bronzer is a great description. It's just so pretty on the skin. I'm doing this because it just melds into the skin beautifully. And then if I had to say one overall favorite bronzer for the whole year, I think it would be this one. The Laura Geller Soft Matte Baked Bronzer in Fair. I wore this a ton because this is totally that blush bronzer sort of a situation. It has a rosiness to it on the face that is just so pretty. It's a get you out the door sort of a bronzer, beautiful texture to it. So I love the way it applies on the skin. I love the way it looks on the skin. And I really enjoy the color of it, that it's that rosy sort of a bronzer color. It's awesome. And then lastly, highlighters. So first off, I would say I did use ColourPop palettes a lot on my face as highlighters. I would be using them on my eyes, and if they had a color in the palette that would work well as a highlighter, which oftentimes they do in their palettes, I would just pop it on my cheekbones as my highlighter. Worked great. Awesome texture, so really works well on the face as well. So yeah, use ColourPop shadows a lot as highlighters. But then also, I would say, I was trying to think about like, if I wasn't testing out a product or something, what were the highlighters that were kind of my go-tos that I would just grab for knowing that I would love them. And it would be Ofra highlighters and then also the Laura Geller highlighters. So these are all different ones from Ofra. So I have all the lights, which is a really pretty light highlighter. That's what I have on today. So pretty and light catching. I mean, just look at it. Oh, a little bit goes a long way with Ofra highlighter, so you don't need a lot of product. Very, very little. This is Cloud 9, a really pretty kind of duochromy pink color. It's stunning. Love this. And then the Laura Geller ones, these are the Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator. So this is Gilded Honey and this is Fairy Dust. These are so pretty on the skin. I mean, they are just so glowy, but light catching and metallic and intense, but not bad looking on the skin. They're intense and they're really a pop, but really pretty and very flattering. You don't need a lot of product with those either, so that's just an FYI on that. So a little bit goes a long way with those. And then the Milani Stellar Lights Highlighter Palette in Rose Glow. I would say that this is probably my overall #1 highlighter favorite for the year because this is so pretty, so intense. It is gorgeous on the face. I would usually mix these two, the two lighter ones. So it's really pretty on the face, but it's really pretty on the eyes as well. Inner corners of the eyes, stunning. So great texture to this. It's intense though. I mean, a little bit goes a long way with it. I mean, look at this, like bloop, and then you still get that much product. So a little bit goes a long way with it, but it's very pretty, so loved this. Okay guys, so that wraps up part 1 of my 2019 favorites. So hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. Please hit a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down below what your favorites would be for foundations, for powders, for concealers, bronzers, any of these categories that we just chatted about. Let me know your favorites down below. I would love to hear those. Ask me any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer those. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!